近確認していませんでしたわね。
Episode of Tearmoon Empire. And you know what's really funny at this point? Last week I was thinking about this and I didn't really convey it or talk about it on last week's review on Tearmoon Empire. But this week, the moment the show started this week, you know, episode number, I totally have that number in front of me. Number 8. As soon as this episode started this week, you know, one of the things I was thinking about is like the diary itself. Now, at the end of the episode, we know it finally disappeared. I'll talk about that as I get there. But in speaking about the actual diary, one of the things I was thinking about is like how there's two things actually. It's one, how does the diary still exist if she hasn't been actively writing? Because she doesn't write. All she does is read the diary, and that's it. So then I was like, okay, I think the answer to that question is she didn't really begin logging all her thoughts and you know, her history down until she got to jail, because she didn't have, you know, that was where she spent all her free time, was kind of logging everywhere she went wrong, everything from her memories. So I was like, okay, I think that's the answer to that question. Secondarily, I'm like, yo, girl, why aren't you currently actively writing in that same diary or another diary yourself, just in case you get a third chance, just in case you mess up and you still face the guillotine? You can take said diary with you to the jail, as I'm sure they will let her take you know, a piece of like a book or something like that. Like you can take that with you and continue your, you know, everything that happened, but you have earlier entries, you know, and more accurate entries on your new life. And let's say she doesn't face a guillotine. I think it would be incredible for her to log all of those things, for her to look back and remember decisions that she's made and stuff. It just kind of makes sense to me as somebody in her position and stuff like that. And it just kind of makes sense, especially since she obviously had a pen to take to paper in the past. I myself am not a diary writer, but if I think about myself in some, you know, world where, you know, digital, like being able to log on a video or you know, phones or apps, you know, remove technology, I was like, yeah, I probably would keep a log of things I do daily as well too, on pen and paper, just like I did when I was a kid. So those are kind of my two things that I wanted to talk about last week that I didn't get a chance to. That perfectly kind of coincides or goes into this week's episode, because like I said, at the end of this episode, the diary finally disappeared. The decisions that she has made has finally caused her to not be in jail. Now, kind of like time travel and everything else, she did do a butterfly effect and ultimately making all these little pit stops and decisions and things. You know, obviously there was maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but we found out that there was a subsect of people, probably, you know, Imperials or people from various lands, or, you know, basically like a dark sector of nobles that were pinpointing the Empire to take them down. And now, at the end of the episode, we learned that they're pivoting. Now, it sounds like they might be pivoting towards Prince Sion's, you know, territory, or Abel's territory, or it could be a different territory, but somebody else is going to face the wrath that the Empire did. Now, the positive is for our MC, it seems like she's kind of out of the water, out of the gutter. But what I'm hoping that happens now that she's out of the gutter is that she doesn't begin making decisions like she did in her past, but instead keeps the guillotine in mind for her future and is very cautious as she's making decisions and stuff. The good thing is now she has a repertoire of not only making good and sound decisions, at least in the eyes of the people that matter, but she also has a repertoire and a subset of folks who are devoted to her. She got Lady Teona's dad and Lady Teona and her brother. She has the advisor, the gold whatever advisor, I think Ludwig is his name, I think, the guy with the glasses. She has the noble who was against her originally being honored with running the princess's lands in his territory now. So she has him on her side now. And then she has the Lulus, the people of the forest on her side based on all of this. So, she has some more adverse folks on her side. And then she also has, the army and her actual knights and stuff that are on her side too, who, she saved a huge group of people for potentially facing their doom for no reason. So she has like a lot of faith in her now. So, she needs to, I hope that, as we move forward into the show, at least these last few episodes, at least, I hope that she begins making decisions with that in mind and not getting too fluffed up. But overall, like, fantastic episode, though. I like the way she handled the Lulu stuff. I like that, again, the person who, did the guillotine work had faith in her as she's like, oh, you must be here to talk to the Lulus at night, so they're not threatened by a big army. And I like that she saved the little kid from the slums, and I like how that kind of like it worked in her favor once again. We knew it would as she continued to wear it daily. I like how she's established that relationship. I like how she established the relationship with Leona, of the Lulus once again too. Also, a random girl wearing a nanny outfit or maid outfit in the middle of the forest, but hey, okay. I also like how she's established the school in her territory. Not only is it a benefit and a boon for her to grab Tiona's little brother, who is going to, revolutionize the wheat industry in their subsector, but it's also amazing because she can grab the Lulus and common folk and teach them as well too, all under the guise of the princess. So anybody who just by percentages, we know there's going to be several successful just regular folks out of 3 different groups: nobles and commoners and Lulus. So just by happenstance, they're going to be appreciative that they're able to have said education through the princess and stuff too. So it all ends up working out in her favor if she doesn't screw it up. So regardless, though, I love this anime. I love her dumbness. I love her silliness. I love her misconstruedness. I love her 𝐜𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐽 syndrome, where she's constantly being misunderstood in the most positive way ever. It just makes the show so entertaining. And then on the midst of all of that, the underbelly of all of that I really love is I like shows like there was like the realist hero rebuilds a kingdom. Like, I love shows that deal with the inner workings of the old fantasy days of empires and building him up and going through like the boring monotony of that. I really love when shows do that. And even though this is done under the guise of comedy, there is still some of that subtext here of building and, booming an economy and growing a wheat industry and preventing and foreseeing famine and how they're going to handle that, and education. And I love shows that do that, and there's not enough of them. Realist Hero, and then Tearmoon, and then I think there's another one out there too that eludes me at the moment. But there's another one out there too, and obviously there's several manhwa and several manga that do that as well too, but not enough that make it to anime. And I love these types of shows. A lot of the Chinese animation does this too, but they do it obviously in China version of it, like in the China days, where sometimes it's not the same. Because there's less empire and more very much Mongolian timepieces that happen there, but they do it too. But there's just not enough of these good shows that come to fruition. All right, anyways, I talked long enough. Thank you guys for joining me this week. I'm gonna see you guys next week. Stay up. Peace out.